129 episodes, 4 seasons, 3.5 years, 133 guests, and 1 guest host. And I turned a year older. The final Breaking Into starts now.
You're tuned into Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Tune in right now.
Breaking Into.
We're breaking into.
Breaking Into.
That's right, kids. It's Breaking Into on Black Hollywood Live. I'm your host, James Lott Jr. Please decide that's going to say that right now. It's really interesting. And I want to welcome you. I have a great show today. We're going to talk about age in our industries. And it's my birthday. I turned 50 years old this weekend. 50! That's a mark. I made it. And I have some people that I just love to pieces, and they're here with me today. And they've been on my shows before, so I'm going to give you the long intro. They all have long intros. But I'm going to give you the quickness of who they are. And you go see the other episodes to see who they are fully. Sitting next to me, she literally saved my life. And she does Epiphany coaching. She's a licensed therapist. We do stuff together all the time. And I just love her to death, Miyume McKinley.
Hi, thank you for having me. I feel special.
You are special. And across the way, I love this woman too so much. She's an actress, the host in LA. She runs that whole thing there. And just a wonderful person, Miss Shay Holland.
So happy to be here to celebrate with you.
Thank you. I'm going to start crying already. Can stop. And now this gentleman is, dance legend. I'm going to say it 10 times. Legend. Actor.
Wait until we all say it.
Legend. Legend. No. Actor, teacher, trainer, Team Afro Inc. Yes, we're going to talk about that a little bit. Okay. And then, of course, the Inglewood Festival of the Arts is coming up, too. But this gentleman has credits miles long. He's been on my show the most, actually, of all my guests. Adolfo Shabba Doo Quinones.
We have time to list them all. This is a 2-hour special. Don't clip off my credit.
1972, 1975, 1977.
Start there.
Yes. The Dinah Shore Show.
The Infinity War.
Exactly.
The Infinity War.
Soul Train. Stuff.
You were way back.
I am going back. And the guy on the couch is one of my buddies and somebody I just admire so much. He's also an actor, writer, producer. Stud.
Oh, man. Thank you, brother.
The Wire. Chronicles Jessica Wu. Monogamy the Series. My buddy Brandon Larkins.
Thank you so much, Mr. J. Lott Jr. Happy birthday and congratulations.
Thank you. Now, I'm going to do this because I can. I believe in thanks and gratitude. You're going to just bear with me for a second. I want to say thank you to all of my guests who've been on the show. I talk fast, so just hold on. These are all my guests who've been on the show, who've taken the time to share part of their lives with me. Joshua Silverstein, Peter Knights, S. Lee Savage, H. Waring Sharp, Ron Finley, Delilah Velo, Miko Branch, Millicent Johnny, Jalen Jones, Jerry Katzman, Dr. David Fry, Christy Ferris, Lem Gonzalez, R.J. Bond, Real Andrews, Scott Trippin, Azinga Stewart, Eddie Zamora, Joe Hernandez-Kolsky, Donnell Turner, Rick Izquieta, Mike Douglas Carlin, Geoffrey Thorne, Hector Hernandez, Michael Hyatt, Yannick Truesdale, Rob Armstrong, Tasha Witten-Griggs, Adolfo Shabba Doo Quinones, James Reynolds, Johnny Blaze, Mark Anthony Samuel, Justin Reed Early, Kimberly Zukowski, Heather Matthews, Moises Serrano, Cheryl Stabler, and the group Loose Ends. Jerry Morales, Andretti Dante, who's my cousin. Letitia Gabor, Rodney Salisbury, Jackie Long, who's in the news a lot right now. Interesting. Nikki Michelle, Terrell Ransom Jr., Louis Areola, Robert G., Tony Basil, our friend, Patrice Lovely, Dr. Clarence Lee, James Moses Black, J.P. Cowley Smooth, Delius Kennedy, Rachel Killian, Rabbi Mark Borovitz, Kirk and Joni Boville, my favorite couples, Alex Cipriano, Drexel Hurd II, Cynthia Gillian, Jillian Reeves, the Ghost Brothers, Gerald Webb, Rayon Lawrence, Jason and Joshua Gabor, Allison Faust, Paul Lamar Hunter, Stan Pearson II, Tenzie Taylor, Edwina Finley Dickerson, Wanderlux, Usman Ali, Latoya Tolbert Robertson, Tommy the Clown, the cast of 202 the series, Devin DeVasquez, Sean Murray, Kurt Farquhar, who's doing some great work on music on TV shows right now, David Malcolm Kelly, Kevontae Jackson, Melanie Mosley, Christinia DeBarge, Gillian Jones, Yelang Smith, Tamar Katam, Miyume McKinley, Taylor Rain, Michael Barlow, Karima Westbrook, Sal Velez Jr., Carrie Rhodes, Mark Christopher Lawrence, Jessica Caesar, Gilly Messer, Alpha, Michael Brown, Every Play Matters, Aaron Jones Wesley, the cast of Chronicles of Jessica Wu, twice, James Woods, Todd Bridges, Dude Be Nice creators, Shay Holland, Dorel Anthony, Adam Rios, Michael Claude, Wasim the Dream, Ezekiel Cruz, Tommy Swisher, Dimitri Lussois, Valerie Noble, I can read my own handwriting, Anthony Anderson, the cast of Asunder the series, Reva Martin, Melinda Hale, Carmel Humphrey, and I just want to give a special shout out to Margot Bingham, Jasmine Lewis, John Marshall Jones, In Vogue, Alonzo Williams, Steve Rohr, Robert Blackman, Rolanda Watts, Eric Braden, Brooke Lewis, Robin Lee, and Lolita Files. All these people I sat down with on this network and have made my life more enriched. And I want to thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you. I don't take it lightly that they came on my show.
Was that 125?
133.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Of course, I blacked out after 15.
Yeah, I know. That's fine. But I wanted to thank them just because because I don't take for granted that I got a show that people actually came on the show and said, I'll do it with you.
And the opportunity for all those diverse voices.
Yes.
That's what I'm amazed at.
Seriously, and it was very, very. There's some great episodes, folks, y'all. Some great episodes.
Impressive names.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mine
Let's see, Adolfo.
touched me.
I was gonna say yes, exactly.
Touched me personally.
Yes. And I want to say hi to everybody who's watching live. Hi, you guys are watching live. Thank you so much that you guys are in the chat room. I want to ask each of you guys, because I did just turn a birthday. In each of your professions, does age really matter for Black folks? Because we age kind of differently than some other non-Black folks. Does it really matter? You can go first because you're a dancer, especially. As a dancer,
it matters.
It matters, okay.
Age matters.
Okay.
We need to have the Black Lives Matter. Age does matter.
Yes.
All ages matter.
And somebody had a birthday this weekend also. So happy birthday to you.
Well,
too.
here it is. You know, of course, Black people in general, we tend to look a lot younger than our ages.
Yes.
But it doesn't save you from knee joint issues. Now, I have the knees of a 500-year-old. Okay, my knees are dating back to Kunta Kinte.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, because that's where I'm at.
But you're out there all the time, all across the
world.
Well,
I keep moving. That's the thing, too. You have to keep moving, keep your body moving, stay in the game. You start laying around too long, and do I like that? But if you stay around too long, then...
Let me ask you a question, because I was taught that dancers, if you dance like most of your life, barring any major health issues, you can dance until like Cheetah Rivera, Tina Turner. Everybody's dancing all their lives, right? Can't you? And Tony Basil, our buddy.
Well, that's a very sweet way of saying I'm really old. But anyway, I appreciate the gesture.
Of course.
No, seriously. At 64,
hello does not even look at
64.
No,
I got the big numbers. Yeah.
Wow.
And I earned every minute. You know, this head's going, oh my God, this has signed. Oh, wow.
And look at him.
You should get a shot of the sofa.
That's what I'm talking about.
The sofa expression.
Right.
Seriously?
That's what I'm talking about.
You have just set the bar so high.
Well, here it is.
Okay. Everybody's shocked.
End of show.
On a serious note, do I have to take control of this show?
Yeah,
anyway, I'm to our host.
Yes,
anyways, no, but seriously, as cliche as it may sound, you're as young as you feel.
Yeah.
I really, the thing is, I'm gonna ask this question all around the world because, of course, I can still dance and get down and all that stuff. And they're like, "How can you keep doing it?" I said, every time I dance, I feel like a kid. It's like the first time I ever did it, and you should never lose that, no matter what it is. Never lose your wonderment, your excitement about life. Remember we used to pick up a caterpillar?
Yeah.
And, look at that fuzzy little thing. Now we kill it, but no. But seriously, it's those things that keeps us young, and that's my secret. That's the secret to my longevity. I still see myself as a kid. Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't want to know what's going to happen next. And I live in the moment, and I'm excited about the moment.
Yeah, that's why I think I love being around creative people. I think we do bring a youthfulness because we are constantly creating. We are constantly getting to see something new. I think unlike a lot of people who forget, and they get, jaded in some way. And so that I think as creative people, we also can tap into an essential eternal youth. It's not a fountain of youth necessarily. It's something that even transcends us, our creativity.
Well, I ask you too, because it's the same thing with dancing and with hosting. Like with hosting, age really doesn't matter, does it? You can host until you're like,
Oh yeah,
you
you
still
can
speak.
host until exactly.
You will,
me.
I was looking at Larry King and all
host.
some of these other people, but yes, it does matter in the degree of the number of opportunities. I would say I think there are, especially as we've gone toward the internet, it seems that there is definitely more opportunities for millennials right now. That just seems to be the hot ticket, what advertisers want. But it doesn't mean you can't be hosting. You may have to, and I think it's a little bit harder as you're older to create your opportunities because you weren't raised on the technology with a phone attached to your thumb,
Yes.
and so it's a matter of keeping yourself fresh by learning.
It's funny. I realized that I am out of the 18 to 49 market now. So now I don't matter anymore to advertisers. I'm like, that is the craziest thing to like realize that in a weird way. Like, oh, I'm 50 now. It's that 1 year. Like now I'm out of the advertising market.
And what are you in now?
I'm like, the abyss. The abyss. I have money. I can buy stuff.
Welcome to old age.
Exactly. So that's kind of weird.
It's just a different set of advertisers.
Yeah, I know. But you know what I mean? They always say that 1834,
Retirement
1849.
funds will
Right.
be calling.
I said the whole thing about being a kid and feeling young and being excited about life, but I also embrace my senior citizen status. You know, I got
Free meals.
in the mail. I want to get this out. In the mail, I received an offer from ARP. I qualified for the tote bag.
Oh, tote bag.
AARP.
And I started jumping around saying, I get the tote bag. And it's free.
Yeah.
Just pay for shipping and handling.
Here's the deal. I have an ARP card. They gave it to me already this year.
It's exciting.
I use my 25% at Denny's.
You know
25%
what?
off.
I wanted ARP to start at 30. Okay, that's where I'm at.
Actually, Miyume, so for you, because you're in the therapy profession,
Yes.
do you get like more gravitas because you like seeing you because you're old? Is that main for you?
I think it gets better as you get older because I think sometimes people they assume that if you're older, you know more. And so I can remember when I first, not that I'm that old now, but when I first started, I remember people older than me coming and sitting and talking to me, and they're like, okay, what are you going to tell me about that, right? So I think as you get older, is looked at as being wise, looked at as knowing more and more life experience. But I think once people get to know you, especially at least in my profession, once people get to know me and they know my personality, it doesn't matter. But I think first set of eyes, fresh look, is just like, okay, how are you gonna help me?
Yeah, you're too young. What are you gonna tell me? Yeah, what are you gonna tell
Right.
me? And now with Brandon, how does this work for you in the kind of keeping the body up and certain roles that you want to play? And how's that work? How's the age work for you?
Well, coming from a producer standpoint and always looking at individuals and talent, I could cast this in person, I could cast this young individual. I will say that a lot of the Hollywood breakdowns right now are looking for individuals from ages 55 and up.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
So you have
There you
shows
go.
like
There you go.
so you have big time shows like Grace and
Michael
Frankie
Douglas.
on Netflix, okay, with Lily Tomlin and Jane Fonda.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Cool Kids just
I know,
got
got
canceled.
canceled,
But you look
yeah.
at Leslie Jordan and you look at David Allen Greer, where that show was really geared towards seasoned individuals. So for Hollywood, they're looking at a lot of the casting breakdowns are from 55 and up, or they're from ages 5 through 20.
Interesting.
Where it gets kind of tricky is that 21 through 49, they don't know where to put us at. It's one of those things where, in LA, a lot of the actors, everybody looks good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what's
that's
going to
a
make
good
you
point.
stand out? I had somebody say to me, he said, you know what your problem is? You're a good actor. You look too good. What's to separate you and all these other good-looking people in your age bracket right then and there? So I'm going to say that age is really not a big thing, but like you said, you're as young as you feel. But even if you're told, and especially for a lot of women in our business, some of them are considered over the hill by 30, which I think is totally absurd.
Ridiculous.
You have to still go for what you want to go for and take advantage of those opportunities that you can create. There's no reason why we can't create shows and things of your own content now, especially with all the digital platform that we have. So for someone that we may look at like a Diane Carroll or a Joan Collins, or even like as Carol Burnett said at the Golden Globes, today in 2019, producers would not want to put that type of money into a variety sketch program, which I have right now. But that's not to say that she still can't create her own show, though.
Right.
Because there is still an audience out there for it. We just have to find that audience.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he mentioned something important. I do feel like there's a different pressure on women than there is on
Oh, yeah,
Absolutely.
Definitely. Oh, absolutely. You have no argument here. I know it is. And I know women get it so rough.
Yeah, and
The
like I
looks.
really admire I've become a Big Little Lies fan.
Oh, yeah,
But
okay.
I feel like that was like Reese Witherspoon, Nicole Kidman, and all of the people, Mindy Kaling, the people that are, I think they're all over 40.
Yeah, they are.
And Meryl Streep just joined it
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, and
Right.
they've all created this beautiful show for all these mature women, and I love it. And I'm like, okay, where's all my sisters? What
Right,
show we
yeah.
doing? Oprah, where?
Yeah, right, hello, right, right.
That feature, roles for women and I think you look at something like that is beautifully done, and it's just maybe stepping outside the Hollywood mold and bringing the content instead of waiting for it to come to us.
What's funny, I always said that Hollywood did not know what to do with Angela Bassett. It felt like for years she bounced around on things and they didn't know what to do with her because she looks
I know what
great.
to do with Angela
Bassett.
Bassett.
Oh jeez.
What?
Okay,
Jeez.
is his mic? We gotta make sure his mic is not hot.
Yeah, I know, it's
for the
like-
show.
Like, alrighty.
I would cast her in a minute. I'd cast her as Angela Bassett.
Okay.
That's a character.
Exactly. But now she has that hit show 911. But I'm saying she's funny for years. She's just kind of bounced. I mean, she's a great actress. She looks
love
great.
her. She's
Got
one
great
of my
triceps.
favorite.
Great triceps. I met her in person. She's great. She's great.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm just saying this. What I'm saying they didn't know what to do with her because she's not like this typical matronly looking person. She's in her 40s.
She's regal.
But she is.
She's in her
she
50s.
is, or 50s. But I'm just saying. But she doesn't have that look that they look for. That they cast her in that. But she's still hot enough to be certain things
But look
too.
at Viola Davis.
think she just turned 60.
Who? They look for
They,
it.
I say they. That's what I'm saying. They.
Out there is nebulous.
That's it,
But I think that she is a different kind of actress. So she's unique in herself. So I don't think she's like anything
Okay.
out there per se. So I
Which is part of the challenge.
I don't even
too.
see her with an age at all. She doesn't have an age.
Yeah.
She's more of an entity
That's
to
true,
me.
too.
And when I saw her, when I see her in projects, she has this sort of regal quality to her, and there's a toughness there
Yeah.
that I really dig. I said, oh, now there you go. That's the kind of girls that I recognize growing up in Chicago. Women that can just take the bull by the horns. Well, take the horn by the bull.
Horn by the bull.
What are you asking here?
You want mud wrestle?
Chicago too, you got to
But
remember.
and there's a number of people, and I think what we're getting to, and I think what this gentleman was saying. What's your name?
Brandon.
Because I'm gonna call you a gentleman just once.
That's fine.
it.
That's all right.
Brandon. Anyway, what he was saying is really about talent now. I think age has nothing to do with it anymore. It's talent, really. At the end of the day, you walk in a room, you have a spark, you have an excitement about you. They will move furniture. They'll move the world for you if you have that, whatever that energy is.
Which was different back when you and I started doing things in the 80s or whatever, where there weren't a lot of opportunities for black people, period.
Right.
Just a few, like you said, you could have been next to heartthrob.
I was coming up even before that in the
Yeah,
70s.
right.
In the 60s and 70s, okay. Again, I repeat, I'm 64, so I weathered it all.
Yeah, you did.
And I was having a conversation with Tony Basil, and what I realized in the lockers, we were living really two different worlds in the same group. I mean, we weren't allowed to walk through the casino and just wander around because they'd say, "Hey, don't you boys got something to do?" I mean, so that wasn't allowed, and I was having a conversation with Tony. I was like, well, we had to stay at the motel down the street. Where were you staying at? She didn't stay at that hotel, the motel rather. So again, even though our names were on the marquee, I did feel racism. I felt prejudice. I felt all these restrictions externally, but I never felt them inside, and that's the difference. When I walk in a room, when I walk into a situation, I don't walk in there thinking, oh, I'm kind of like behind. No, I still feel powerful, even though I recognize that there are some obstacles ahead.
And one thing
Absolutely.
I'll say that I've recognized that has changed. I don't feel age is as much a factor, but what I'm so happy that has changed along with it. When I first started working, the breakdowns were constantly for a light-skinned black person.
There's that too. There's that too.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
that
we're
too.
coming back.
And I feel right.
There's a
I'm
rise
like,
of
okay, now that dark chocolate is,
Yes.
we're
Yeah.
getting in the room a lot more. I
Yeah.
think there is still some bias toward a lighter colored African American,
Yeah,
and
the
I feel like
cheating
that
is-
has been more of a barrier for me than age.
I came up with, they have Black Panther. I'm Panther Latte.
Anyway,
Just throwing that out there.
Well, I want to talk about
Panther Light.
to both of you guys. I want to talk about because
Exactly.
on our show we talked about the race, the light skin, dark skin thing, and also Tony and I talked about it on our show too. We talked about how people thought she was a light skinned black person at first. Sometimes,
Yeah.
you know, all these black men, and this was back in the day. They just didn't know, but she was like, I was white,
Right.
And she did get different treatment sometimes.
Yeah,
she
she
said.
did.
And the whole dark light thing. I mean. My brother, I just talked the other day about it because my brother's very light skinned. He goes, James, I know you walk through the world a little differently than I do. I know you do.
Yeah.
I just know it. It is what it is, and and actually, black folks a lot of times perpetuate that more than even white folks sometimes.
Right.
Well, yeah,
South,
that's the key.
That's the key.
Black
That's the key.
people perpetuating this division,
Right.
more than the whites.
Yes.
At this point, because here it is. I'm always feeling like I have to prove my blackness. I have to be.
Right.
So I got into a situation with some people out of town, and during a lecture or whatever, I said, "Look, I see myself as Thalmus Rasulullah. There's nobody darker than me in this room right now. So it's not my color. It's where I know I'm about. So stop this whole thing. It was like, the only reason you did breaking because you was the light-skinned one. I said, no, it's because I was attractive.
And you were good.
Yes, and I was good.
And you booked the room.
I did.
That's what you
I
did.
came in and owned the situation.
You're right. And that's your confidence.
So
right
do
there.
we think people like Viola Davis, Lupita, is that changing the game for dark-skinned women yet, or is that we still have a long way to go?
I love Viola Davis. See,
I
that's
think
another
it
one
is.
of them
Yeah.
regal
Yeah.
ones.
I think it is.
I think
it
it's
is?
changing. I feel like the Obamas changed it. Michelle
Okay.
Obama being a dark-skinned woman, I feel like we're now getting seen as sexually attractive objects on TV. Not that we want that to be
Right.
in the
But
past.
stuff's
We
important.
would have played the maid. We would have played, the housekeeper. We would have played the cook. Now you're seeing us. We're running the show now.
The sexy maid.
Yeah.
It makes a difference even with the clients I work with. I mean, I have a client. She's from Nigeria. She was adopted, and she's here. And her mom brought her in because of self-esteem, because of the whole colorism. She goes to a primarily Caucasian school and things. And we had an Essence magazine on the table in the lobby. And this week she was like, "Oh my gosh, she looks like me. Look."
Yeah.
It was Lupita.
That's important.
So it's definitely changed. And after Black Panther, it changed her
Yeah.
total self-esteem.
yeah.
I mean, I've seen it
Absolutely.
firsthand where. Prior to that, we were doing some self-esteem work, and after that, she's like, she has hair like mine.
Okay.
That's very important. We need to see representation in digital series like you guys do, Monogamy, Chronicles of Jessica Wood stuff. We're seeing a range of people that now look like us.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
The range is what.
The
is
range.
good.
We
And I
have
think-
the range right here.
We do.
Exactly.
No, we do.
And I think that reflects in the age too. I think people are wanting a much more diverse cast in terms of everything, in terms of age, in terms of race, and I think the general public is pushing that demand. And so I love it. I love the season we're living in.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's really starting to change, and I'm seeing all these series out there like Giants and Asunder and Acosta, and they're all having these range of black folks. Like we're seeing big black folks. Like my girl from Asunder who was on here, Landra V. Phillips. She's 6 feet tall and a big woman. She's like, and I'm showing myself having sex and things on screen.
On screen.
Just because you guys see the representation, not for exploitation or anything, but just to see, so other big girls see themselves on TV.
Right.
Other tall girls see themselves on TV. Like it's
Just being tall or
That's right.
big.
both.
Or big and tall.
Big and tall.
Wow.
But both. But like both.
Do you get the video clip?
I don't have a video clip. You go on Amazon. It's on Amazon Prime. You watch that thing.
Well, send it to him. He
Right.
knows. He's a writer.
Yes, he's a writer. But you know what I mean? It's like we need to see more representation. I know, and like for me, going back to age for a second, every time I say I was wearing this pin all weekend on purpose. Because whenever I said I was 50 years old, people would say, "Oh, wait, that's not that old," or "You should say you're 40. You should say you're 30." They want to make me say I'm younger. And I'm like,
Nope.
no, but I'm actually okay with. I'm okay with 50. I'm just saying.
50 is a good number.
It is. Like I mean, I had a brother who didn't make it to 50. He died a few years
Wow.
ago. He didn't make it. He went to 47. He didn't make it to 50. So I'm like, a lot of our black men aren't making it to 50.
Right, that's true.
So for me, I'm actually proud to showcase that I'm 50 years old. I'm not trying to go, well, I know I look good for my age, but I don't want to say I'm 40 years old or 39 or 25. I mean, I don't care about
50
that.
is a good number.
Right.
I love 50.
Nice
It was great. I have fond memories of 50.
You find well,
Just think about that. I was a whole teenager away.
You were actually, you were. When I was born. When I was
So, yeah,
born,
when
you
I
were a
did 50, I
teenager.
was like, you know
yeah.
what? This is a cool number.
You were a teenager when I was born. How funny.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
and I will say, I don't say, and I'm like, okay, how does that handle like with dating? And that's
Oh,
what-
right.
It becomes more of a factor dating than it does for acting
that
or
does.
hosting.
What, to be 50, a year old woman?
To be an older woman.
No, actually, it's better.
Well, I mean, so how does that with dating? How does that work with dating, I wonder? Because I know men are different than women, so I wonder how that works.
Yeah, I constantly get asked out by younger men who
There
are
you
much,
go.
much younger.
There you go.
Because you're
Yeah.
so interested.
So, I mean,
They want to know what mom is really
Oh, he is
about.
trouble.
So
What?
much trouble. So much trouble.
So, okay.
Maybe we better go back to acting and
But
dating.
no, but that's
I feel like we're on a dangerous precipice.
I
here.
love it. Woman can behave in a second. No, I'm just curious because dating in LA especially is very hard anyway. First of all, it's just hard anyway. But younger people hitting on you, that must be an interesting thing though, because you're probably not looking for younger. I mean,
I'm open to it. It's just funny that it's like, okay, I had my driver's license when you were born.
Oh yeah, there's that. Oh yeah, there's that.
So you could teach him math.
I do that. Or I had one once where I was like, I've been dating your whole life. Okay, I get it. It's kind of weird.
So, but if it's not a problem for both people, then hey, what the heck,
But you're attractive, so you're not carrying any age. You just see beauty.
What about but on apps? They make you put your age on it, don't they?
On acting?
Most apps. Most apps, though, they don't.
I've never done a dating app.
Okay.
You did?
No,
I've never done one.
Never done one.
But when it comes to your because nowadays you have headshots and stuff. I mean, do you send stuff in? I don't know how that works anymore with your age and height and stuff on it.
No, because most of the unions fought the age on things, and so now it's no longer able to be required. There's some that are getting around it sneakily, but
age range.
They're still finding it. IMDb right now.
Okay.
Is still posting individuals' original birth dates and their age, and a lot of talent are really, especially a lot of females are really fighting IMDb to get that off right now.
Because I will say it's
because you have some casting directors, you have some producers and some networks that probably will sometimes still discriminate or have age discrimination though.
Wow.
Right. Or they'll think that because you're 40 but you look 31.
Yeah.
They'll but once they find out that you are actually in your 40s, they'll be like, we don't know how our audience is going to react.
Exactly. We don't think they'll say we don't think you'll test well.
Interesting.
Which really sucks.
Even though your age is not being released to the audience though when you're on the show. I mean the show
it's that age discrimination.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
That is still, like I said, I think it's much it's better than it has ever been, but it is still there, and sometimes you can it comes out, you can sense when it's there, or you hear stories of when it's there.
Miyume, what do you think about the whole people getting older and people fighting it and like I don't want to turn 40, I don't want to turn 50? I mean, in your practice, like what do you guys do about that? Like just kind of how do you get
I
them
think
through
it
it?
has a lot to do with where a person feels they are in their life. So I think a lot of it is it's the age, but it's also where you are. So I'm 60 and what have I done with my life? Or I'm 30 and I'm comparing myself to other people in my age range. This person graduated from college, she has kids, this person is married. What am I doing? So it's more so the comparison of where society says we should be in life versus the actual age itself. So that's where it becomes challenging. So
And I guess with Instagram too and all that going on.
Oh yes, everybody. I have to tell Michael, stay off, please, because if you're depressed by the end of your swipe session, it's not helpful because it is. I'm like and you can be whatever you want on social media. So what are you comparing yourself to? And no one, very rare. I mean, you were very honest, and I think it's great that in your post when you were going through what you were going through, what you provided people. But not many people are posting their hardships. They're not posting, I'm going through a divorce, or I'm feeling depressed right now.
It's funny you say when I decided to document my Bell's palsy journey. If you're first tuning into this show for the first time, I had Bell's palsy last year, and it was a 10-month process that I went through. And I was posting pictures of my face, and people were just like, "You're so brave." I'm like, "No, I'm just kind of sharing." I mean, but I'm seeing you're right. No one else really does stuff like that. I'm like, today I feel really shitty. I'm just gonna say it. I feel really bad today, and I posted on there not for sympathy, but I'm saying, but this is what I'm going through, and I know many people are going through it too. One time I did a post on being, he's sitting right there. Yeah, my picture of me, my face was paralyzed. And I said, now I know what chronic pain feels like. And I got so many people going, yeah, me too. And like no one's talking about it. Because they're all like, want to show their best lives online and best lives. I'm like, I show good stuff too that's going on. But like, I have some days it was rough. And why can't I show it with my peeps out there who are following me? I want people to know that they're not alone. But you're right. People don't want to do that. They're human.
They're human.
Yeah,
I thought you were so brave.
I did.
I was like, I could never do that.
I know. And like I have a friend right now, and she's going through cancer, and my first thought was the fear for her hair.
Oh, right.
And I felt bad for her, but the first thing she did was go bald, and she's like, no, and I'm like, man, so courageous, and because I think that's there's so much pressure on us as women for how we look, and she just owned it that she's gonna make that part of who she is now and come into a whole different place. And so I feel like that's what we have to do with age too, is just come into a whole different place. And I think keeping yourself healthy and keeping at the top of your game, no matter what your age, is what helps in the mindset.
And also respecting your journey, because we stop comparing your journey to other people. We're so quick to compare ourselves, but my life is my life, your journey is your journey, and so just respecting your journey. I think that's the theme I have going with my nonprofit, respect your journey, and just acknowledging that everybody's journey is different. It's not right or wrong or good or bad, it just is. And what are you taking from your journey? I want to give a quick shout out to Flobo Boyce, who's a fellow host here, Jacob Marquez, Kristen Marie, Exist and Nature Media, wherever you are. Okay, Exist and Nature Media.
One of the things that was really interesting for me getting older that I like is that I care less now. I love it. I love that now I know who I am, and people's stuff just does not bother me. It's like does not bother me.
Agreed.
And I think that's something that's happened as I've gotten older. I don't know if everybody else feels the same. I mean, any age, you start feeling like the things I was so angsty about. God, 20 years ago. Like, I'm sorry. Yeah, it really doesn't matter, does it? It really doesn't.
No, you have different priorities as you get older. I know for me in my career, my journey, I've just learned to, what's going to happen is going to happen. And I can't worry about A through Z. I can only worry about myself. Or I don't like to say worry, be concerned about myself. Things that may have ticked me off before, I just walk away. It's really not even worth it. Because then I have to sit and I think about, if I react stupidly or I react negatively to this situation, how could this consequence me down the line? You know, and I work too hard for that.
Out of your character.
And that's
like,
right.
I just feel like I protect my energy, and it's like, is it worth it? Oh,
right.
No,
Is it right? Is it worth it?
Is it worth
there you go.
It? Oh no, this is.
And it's not worth it.
No.
Yeah, you got a cool friend right there.
Oh, she's good. She's good. We talked about the show.
I want
you to be my friend.
No, she's good. She's good.
I was like, she's over there hogging the friend.
We're all friends here.
Yeah.
Everybody's
You
friends.
just say some really cool stuff.
No, she's all about the whole protecting energy. We talked about it on the show several times about
energy and focusing on what's in your control. Radical acceptance,
Yep,
right?
Radical acceptance.
That's the premise of I don't have to like you. I don't have to like what you're about. I don't have to agree with what you're doing, but I don't have to allow your decisions, who you decide to be, have emotional control over me. So I always give the analogy of, all of us have at least one family member that gets you drunk at a party. So I can spend the rest of my life trying to convince you of why you shouldn't get drunk at that party. And I get upset every single time. And here he goes again, making fun of people. And why doesn't anybody see? Or I can accept that you get drunk at parties. Okay, fourth beer, I'm gonna be in the kitchen.
Okay.
Right, changes my whole. So I'm focusing on what's in my control. But I think a lot of people get wrapped up in trying to control other people, or trying to get people to get it, or and then your life becomes. Other people's behaviors begin to puppet your life, and I just feel like it's not worth it.
And I think you said something else that I really like too, just about, and now my mind just went blank. It was good. She said it.
She said it was good.
I was just gonna
and about that old age.
I know what it was. Some of my friends in their 20s are much more unhappy than many of my friends who are much older than that, because they're focusing on, oh my God, I got to have a baby by the time I'm 27.
Yes.
Look at all my friends are having babies now, and what am I going to do? And I'm single now, and oh my God, what am I going to do? And so they're living their lives based on what everybody else is doing versus what their journey is, where it's going to take them. Versus, I think when you do get a little bit older, you're like, okay, this is where my journey is, and how can I change it? You feel much more empowered to do something about your journey.
But also thinking about, are you doing it because you want it, or are you doing it because society said you should do it? I mean, I don't have any kids, and I go home and they're like, what's wrong with you? I'm from Louisiana in the South.
So something is wrong with you.
Right, something is wrong with me.
You're right,
They're like, what's wrong
exactly.
with you? I'm like, I just want to have my career. That's all. Like, is that wrong? But I have cousins who feel, and family members and friends who feel that society says you need to have a baby by this age, and society says you should be married by this age, and society says you should have to buy a house and all these things, and so they're miserable as opposed to respecting their journey. So
now I want to ask you, Shabba Doo, because you had a birthday also like I did. What do birthdays mean to you these days?
I don't really celebrate birthdays.
Okay.
Actually, as you know, probably I studied to be a Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah.
So as a Jehovah's Witness, I don't participate in.
So what does it mean to you though in general? Like, what does it mean to you in general? Like another year great, or?
Well, I don't even look that far or anything. It's just like any other day to me.
Okay.
I just say I made another day.
Another day. Okay, I like
and
that. Okay.
I literally take every moment in the moment. I can't be concerned with tomorrow or what happened yesterday. I just focus on right now. I just always reminding myself, what's happening right now? Why are you feeling this some kind of way right now? Why are you feeling this way right now? So I'm always focusing on that. But it's nice when I have fans, lots of them, that congratulate me on my birthday. But the congratulations should really go to my mom. I'm a mama's boy.
I know you are. You love your mom.
I love my mama.
He does. He loves
I
mom.
really do. And I say it with great pride, because sometimes people, they put down guys who really love their mama, I guess, at the level that I may. But she doesn't rule me.
Right.
But I understand that she did so much for me, and I couldn't do all the things that I'm enjoying in life without her. She's growing up with all women, I see women as different than you see on these TV shows and movies and things. They're quite courageous, can be.
Oh, yes.
And I don't want to make a blanket statement because there's some women that are not doing, towing their line either. But generally speaking, I've found they always find a solution, most often than the men.
Yes.
And can be quite tough because they can put up with a lot of crap and deal with things in ways that men are incapable of doing because we're carrying around that man thing and all that stuff, So, again, I love my mama.
I know you do.
And I owe everything to mom.
Well, I feel, and I'm going to say this on Black Hollywood Live, so I can say this. I have such respect for black women. I mean, I have respect for all women, of course, but for black women especially because I feel black women really hold it down. I mean, black women, you guys are strong. You guys really do have to go through so much on a regular basis, and you somehow make it through. You somehow just make it
And
through.
not barely either.
No, not barely at all.
They have Rocky moments.
I start crying because I'm like, I feel like you guys, you black women are so strong, and over the years, over the centuries, have gone through so much, and over the years, have gone through, and you thrive.
Typically during slavery, it was the women that had to hold things together.
Oh, look at there.
But I will say, I think as black women, we're always open to that strong black man.
Okay, well, I'm sorry.
There's nothing about a great team.
Right. Great team is good.
Yeah.
But I don't want to diminish. I don't want to diminish black women. Black women will be there. We'll stand by their black men. And some of us black men don't take care of our women.
I tell you what.
That's what I mean.
If you can get a black man operating on all pistons, it can be quite formidable.
Yes.
I've encountered two in the 64 years.
Okay.
One was my grandfather from Alabama.
Okay.
And that man taught me a lot about just being patient. He had a saying. He said, be willing to work for free to show them how much you're worth. And he did that. He worked at the railroad for free for a week. And when he was ready to leave, he worked so well. When he was ready to leave, they said, "Oh no, tell me what you need to stay here."
Right.
So he didn't just talk about it. He lived about it. And he was just quiet, unassuming guy. My brother was telling me he'd watch TV with Sonny Liston and Clay, and he'd say he could whip them all.
Of course.
And he could.
Yeah.
Right.
And he probably could.
Right. But I still want to diminish my black women. I think you guys, you do work out, and every day you have to go out there against all odds, because this business especially is not for the faint-hearted for anybody.
No, it's
But
not.
for black women especially, you got to go out there and do it. And for you to be, a therapist, you went to college, you're smart, you know what's going on. But I'm sure people look at you sometimes certain ways. I'm like, you're like, I know what I'm worth.
I've been that one in the room.
I'm sure.
Well, you're not a doctor.
Wow.
She could be threatening to some people.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I've experienced people like completely turn around. And, so it's interesting sometimes, especially in this field, because a lot of you're hearing more and more, especially with the push of mental health. You got Taraji, all these celebrities coming out talking about it. But prior to, every black person in mental health was assumed social worker, and then everybody doesn't understand there are many aspects of social work.
Yes, there are.
Things of that nature. So I think we're breaking barriers, but yes, I've been the only black one at the training, or the only one black one in the room, having to talk about cultural competency or helping understand what's the difference between, what's cultural norms, religious norms, and what could be seen as psychosis or.
Wow.
Great, I'm feeling inferior right now.
You should.
Oh my goodness.
I ain't scared of you.
Well, this comes to the time that I have to end the show.
Oh, God, you're kidding.
I know.
This was a
that
2-hour
was quick.
special.
But I need something I need to say before we end the show. So I need to make sure. I know. This is
Don't
kinda,
cry,
I know, I'm
please.
going to. I know I'm going to. I can tell already.
Because Brandon will. if he cries, I'm crying
funny.
too.
If Brandon cries, I'm crying.
I know. I was like, okay, maybe Brandon cries. We're watching you now.
It's over.
And I was like, I know. I'm trying
Brandon, hold
to.
it together.
I will.
I'm trying to pull it together. Okay, let's see what I can do. Let's see if I can do this. But I mean, in all seriousness, thank you guys for being on the show. Whenever I call, you
Thank you
guys
for having
show
me.
us.
Yeah, it's
you
been
do,
an honor,
and,
Jay.
Thank
and I
you.
know you always are around the world, and you show up for me.
But I love you, man.
I know, I love you too. Very much. We
You're
joke
right
around
from
a
the
lot,
beginning.
so. We did. Remember you said it from the
Yeah,
beginning.
yeah,
We
right
very
from
much.
the
And each of us from the
Yeah.
beginning we met. It was
That's
an
right.
instant connection.
It's your excitement, it's your energy.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
It's
Thank
the
you.
love you put out, James.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Plus the
That's it.
cookies.
What's the cookies?
Plus the cookies. Plus the cookies. So I had to write this down because I was going to try to memorize it, but I can't memorize it. I'm just going to talk from. It's just from my heart, though. But I just want to say this to you guys out there. So it's come to that time, so I'm already starting already. Come to that time, I don't take for granted for 1 second that I was a young black man, that I had a show of my own for 4 seasons on an online network where I had creative control, and I was able to have whomever I wanted on my show and talk about a wide range of topics, especially some of those that were close to my heart. I had the opportunity to feature new and emerging talent on this show. I'm so proud of that, and I'm excited to see where they go. I've also had the pleasure of having respected folks on this show. Some in this room, of course, who've been around for a while. I like the wide range I've had on the show. I want to thank Miyume McKinley and Keven Undergaro for creating this network so black folks like me can shine and excel. I appreciate that. I appreciate them also for their personal and professional support of me. I want to thank Phil Svitek and Stephen Lemieux for vouching for me when I went to Dario Christian, who said I have the perfect show for you to reboot. And that's the show. I want to thank Brianna Phipps and Jeffrey Graham for all the coordination of my shows over the years, my schedules, I've had some crazy schedules, and all of my guests. I want to thank all the engineers and producers who had to listen to my loud, deep voice in their ears for hours. I'm so sorry. Special mentions to Alexis Torres Plumley and my girl, Marissa Serafini. I want to thank all the PR people out there that I've worked with on both coasts who trust me with their talent. I want to thank all of my guests who have been on my show, including everyone in this room. I am touched that you found my show to be worthy of your time and for sharing pieces of you on this show with me and my audience. I learned from each of you guys and women, and I have many friendships because of that from you guys and on people who have been on my show. And last but not least, certainly, I want to thank everybody out there who's ever watched this program, those of you guys who are watching in the chat room now, who shared it, who have commented on it. I literally would not have been doing this for the last 4 years if it wasn't for you. My goal from the very beginning was to share knowledge, pay it forward, and lift each other up. And I hope I did that with this show. I am a great example of finding your passion later in life and going for it fully and making the most out of it. I thank God every day for his divine intervention. I usually end my shows with asking my guests those same 2 questions. I did it 133 times. They've all answered on the show. They've done it. And it's called 2 words. And I'm just going to simply end the show with these 2 words. Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I want you all to be kind to each other and kind to your community. And I love you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thanks for watching the show. Thank you, Black Hollywood Live.
Okay, great. We want to do a quick update, guys.
On behalf of our BHL staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in to Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Check out our Black Hollywood Live YouTube page for even more great programming and amazing content. And be sure to subscribe and like our channel when you do. I'm your BHL host, Nakia Monet, and you can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom or at Black Hollywood Live. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.